Hello and welcome to the Next Step workshop for students on academic probation or readmitted on probation. We understand you are experiencing some academic difficulties. We want to provide you with information and resources that will help you get back into good standing. As we review resources, tips, and information, we encourage you to take notes and jot down questions. Let's review the agenda. This video will cover common mistakes made by students in academic difficulty, review probation, readmitted on probation, and disqualification information, tools to help you get back on track, including the SMART Goals model, and time management. We will also watch The Nature of Success, a video of inspirational quotes, and I will remind you to complete a short quiz to test your knowledge of information covered in this workshop. If you have questions or concerns, we will direct you to the Student Success Services office to make an appointment with your academic counselor. Let's jump right in and tackle some common mistakes that students in academic difficulty make. We'll cover our top 5. You may feel like you are behind and that you need to take more units than usual to catch up, but it's okay to take it slow. In your case, less units may equal a better outcome. It's better to do really well in a few classes, especially if you have other responsibilities outside of your academics that also require your attention, than take on too much and fail. If your circumstances have not changed or improved from one semester to the next, you should not take more units than you can manage. You also want to pay attention to the rigor or difficulty of the classes in which you are registered. Are you in classes that you might struggle in or that you are repeating in which you did struggle? You should take classes that count toward your requirements, but building your academic confidence and completing the semester with good grades is critical to your success. Each semester we find that students who are struggling are afraid to meet with a counselor or don't prioritize utilizing resources to get back on track. I assure you, counselors want to support and empower you to make the best decisions for your academic and personal success. In addition to reviewing policy, we want to know what's going well and how you're doing, so we can provide encouragement and review options, resource information, and referrals. Many students don't understand the grade substitution policy and sometimes repeat classes using limited substitution units for which you have other options. We want to review how the grade substitution policy can work for you and inform you about other resources that are available. One of the reasons that many students struggle is that they do not regularly take advantage of the resources available to them on campus. Fresno State offers tutoring, supplemental instruction, counseling, workshops, activities, and much more. Your education is not just about going to class and doing homework. I encourage you to try at least one new resource this semester. Let's review probation, disqualification, and readmitted on probation information, so you are able to make informed decisions and understand the results of your academic performance at Fresno State. This is a student level chart. Student level is determined by the number of units earned or completed, not the number of years in school. Units earned or completed is indicated on your unofficial transcript and your degree progress report, or DPR. As an undergraduate, to be in good standing, you must have at least a 2.0 campus and cumulative GPA, regardless of your student level. Campus GPA includes all coursework completed at Fresno State. Cumulative or total GPA includes Fresno State coursework and any transfer coursework. When you earn a campus and/or total GPA below 2.0, your academic standing is probation for the subsequent semester and every semester thereafter, unless your campus and/or total GPA increases to 2.0 or you are disqualified. Let's review a student scenario. A sophomore student with 49 units earned takes 15 units in the spring and earns 9 of their 15 units. The student's GPA drops to 1.5 after spring grades are posted with a total of 58 units earned. The student is still a sophomore, but is on probation in the disqualification range in the fall. The student takes 12 units in the fall. After grades post for the semester, say the student only earns 9 of their 12 units and is able to improve their GPA to 1.8. The student would be disqualified for not improving their GPA above the disqualification range for their new student level, since with 67 units they are now considered a junior. Alternatively, say the student is able to improve their GPA to 1.85. The student would be able to continue in the fall on probation and remain on probation until they improve to good standing or are disqualified. Note that students who are readmitted on probation, regardless of the improvement of their GPA, must earn at least a 2.5 term GPA to continue to the next semester, and will remain readmitted on probation until their GPA is no longer in the disqualification range. To review, you are disqualified after your first semester of probation if your GPA remains or falls at or below the disqualification range, depending on your student level. Notice again that as you move from freshman to senior level, you have less room for failure in your academic performance before you are disqualified. For example, a freshman student can have a campus or cumulative GPA of 1.5 and remain on probation, whereas a sophomore, junior, or senior with a campus or cumulative GPA of 1.5 is disqualified after their probationary period. I'll explain why shortly. Let's review the consequences of your academic standing. All students who are on academic probation or are readmitted on probation will have a registration hold. Complete this workshop including the quiz and follow through with your college advising requirements to have your registration hold removed. Check with your respective college advising center for your requirements and continue to monitor your Fresno State email. You must meet with your counselor to follow up by the advertised deadline. If you are currently on probation, to maintain enrollment for next semester, you must remain or improve your GPA above the disqualification range. Note that your student level may change after this semester's grades and units earned are posted. For example, a sophomore with 50 units earned who earns 12 units this semester for a total of 62 units is considered a junior and must have a GPA above 1.84 to continue next semester. If you are considering a stop-out, meaning you plan to take this semester off and register for next semester, you must drop your courses on or before the 10th day of instruction. If you plan to stop out, see an academic counselor for more information. If you were readmitted to the university on probation, meaning you were previously disqualified and were readmitted and returned after your disqualification, you must earn a term GPA of 2.5 or higher each semester until your GPA improves to above disqualification range or you are back in good standing. Students readmitted on probation are not eligible to stop out until they are out of the disqualification range. Let's review some other consequences of a low GPA. Remember that as your student level increases from freshman to senior, you have less range in your GPA to earn failing grades before you are academically disqualified and disenrolled from the university. This is because you must earn at least a 2.0 campus, cumulative, and major GPA or higher to graduate. Your first semester on probation, you received a warning email from financial aid. If you do not improve to good standing, you will be disqualified from financial aid. Talk to your counselor about the appeal process. In addition, if you want to change your major or you are ready to declare, some majors will not accept you if your GPA is below a 2.0. You might also be required to maintain a higher minimum to pursue specific majors or options within your major. Check with your major department advisor to discuss consequences that affect your major goals. You might also be asked to meet a GPA requirement for employment or scholarship eligibility. Our student organizations and Greek organizations also require student leaders to meet a minimum GPA requirement. Furthermore, if you are interested in graduate school, many schools require minimum prerequisite GPA for candidates applying to their programs. To be a competitive candidate, in some programs your GPA must be higher than the minimum. To remind you to visit your academic counselor, an advising required service indicator will be placed in your student portal under Important Info and Holds. This is different than the registration hold that will be placed in your student portal and may require you to follow guidelines set forth by your college advising center or major department. Once you have met with your EOP and Special Support Programs counselor, the service indicator will be removed. For some of you, your EOP and Special Support Programs counselor will also be able to remove your hold. For more details about the service indicator or any of the items in your Important Info and Holds, click on Details and you will be directed to a different screen. On the next screen, you can select the item for which you want more details, and finally, after selecting an item, a screen with instructions will appear. This is an example of a screen students will see when they select details for the Advising Service indicator. Now that we have reviewed consequences, let's review how to get back on track. You may already be taking steps or changing your daily habits to improve your academic performance this semester. Maybe you started implementing a plan before the semester started, or circumstances that were contributing to your academic performance last semester have changed for the better. Let's review some additional tools that might help you get back on track. One strategy that you probably use every day without knowing it is setting goals. We encourage students to set goals for many reasons. Students who learn how to set goals are typically higher achievers. Students who implement a strategic plan to achieve their goals often experience more success. Goals can help a student stay motivated. Students who accomplish their goals are often more satisfied with their work and have higher levels of self-confidence. Effective goal setting is also beneficial in creating a general can-do attitude. Implementing change is about setting short-term goals for the day, week, or month, as well as longer-term goals for the semester, the year, or even 5 or more years. Let's review the SMART Goals model, an awesome tool to help you maximize your goal setting. SMART is an acronym meaning that each letter of the word SMART refers to an important component of setting SMART goals. SMART goals are specific. Specific goals are much more likely to be accomplished than vague ones. A specific goal can be determined by asking the following questions. Who is involved? SMART goals don't depend on the involvement of too many people. Remember, the only person you can control is yourself. So the achievement of your goal should depend on you. What do you want to accomplish? Define your outcomes so you will have a clear idea of what you are aiming for. Vague descriptors such as better and more are not specific enough. Where will you work on your goal? Identify a location or locations where most of the work towards your goal will be carried out. By when do you hope to accomplish your goal? Set a time frame and specific deadline for completion. Having a specific end date will keep you from procrastinating. Which factors will affect the success of your goal? What requirements do you have and what limitations will you have to deal with? Being prepared for obstacles makes them easier to overcome. Why do you want to reach this goal? The reasons behind your choice of a goal are just as important as the goal itself. Looking at those reasons can often tell you quite a bit about yourself and your values. SMART goals are measurable. You should be able to see the progress you're making so you can evaluate if you are on track. The way you find out if your goal is truly measurable and specific is to ask another set of questions. For example, if your goal is to increase the amount of time you are studying or to earn better grades, you can ask yourself questions such as, how much studying do I want to do? How many A's, B's, and C's do I want to earn? How will I know when the goal is reached? Charts are a great way for you to keep track of your progress and measure how much of your goal you have achieved. SMART goals are action-oriented. Your goals should include a course of action and tasks that you must complete. Having specific goals that are measurable will help you determine what steps and actions are necessary to achieve your goal. SMART goals are realistic. They are goals that are achievable and attainable. They represent what you know you are capable of accomplishing with the resources that you have available. You need to be willing to seek support to learn about available resources and take action to utilize those resources. Overreaching goals may lead to failure and discouragement. SMART goals are time-bound. You should have a time frame for completing your goals. This is part of making your goals measurable. Set realistic deadlines for accomplishing your goals. SMART goal setting takes into account all of the guidelines described and supports you in developing a game plan to accomplish your goals. Let's review some examples of short and long-term goals. Short-term goals are things like pass History 11 with an A this semester, meet my EOP counselor or major advisor within 2 weeks, and study at least 3 hours a day this week, including tutoring and SI. If you're a first or second year student, long-term goals are things like earn a 3.0 total GPA by the first semester of my senior year, apply to graduate school in the first semester of my last year, and land a job in my career field within 6 months of graduation. Some of your short-term goals may be tied to your long-term goals. I encourage you to consider, what are some of the daily and weekly habits you can develop to facilitate your goal achievement? There may be resources on campus, such as SupportNet, that can support you. One skill that everyone, regardless of whether you are a student or a professional juggling multiple responsibilities, can improve on is time management. Time management is behavior management. For example, you may be presented with a choice to study and work on homework or go with your friends. You have the choice to tackle your concerns on your own or seek out academic counseling. Ask yourself these questions. Do I find myself doing things that interfere with my schoolwork simply because I hate to say no to family and friends? Do I feel that, for the most part, I am in charge of my own time? Do I believe that there is room for improvement in the way I manage time? Do I make a list of things that I have to do each day? Do I work on assignments the night before they are due? Do I regularly, daily or weekly, review my class materials even though there are no upcoming exams? Do I have a set of goals for the entire semester? If you answered yes to 1, 3, and 5, you know you are ready for change. If you answered yes to 2, 4, 6, and 7, you may be managing your time well. Is there anything else that you can do to improve your time and priority management? Next, we'll review tips for managing time, your behavior, and priorities. Learn to say no. Communicate your academic goals to people and the commitment you are making to attending class, reading, studying, and other activities that will help you attain your academic and career goals. Look ahead and set goals. Take some time at the beginning of the semester to set SMART goals and take a few minutes every day or sometime every week to list the daily or weekly tasks you need to complete to reach your goals. For example, if you have a paper due or an exam in 2 weeks, determine what daily tasks or daily studying you need to complete to finish your paper or earn a passing grade on your exam. For some classes, you should probably study actively every day, even if it's half an hour, regardless of your exam schedule. Get your body and mind in shape. Take care of yourself. Your wellness should be a priority. You are most productive if you are well physically, mentally, and spiritually. Find that you are pushing yourself beyond your limits. Ask yourself, am I being the best person I can be at work, school, and at home with my family? Am I submitting quality work? Sometimes finding balance requires sacrifice, but if the sacrifice is detrimental to other important areas of your life, you may need to reevaluate your commitments, your priorities, and your goals. Don't put things off. This is where breaking down longer-term goals into smaller goals comes in handy, like working on your term paper a few hours each week, and breaking that down further to 30 minutes a day for at least 4 days of the week. If you find yourself waiting to the last minute for assignments, evaluate the cause and write down what steps you can take to overcome challenges. Tackle the toughest part of an assignment first. We procrastinate on the toughest part of an assignment for a multitude of reasons, such as fear of failure or striving for perfection, or a lack of confidence. Give yourself a 5 or 10 minute contract to work on a challenging problem or task for 5 to 10 minutes and assess yourself after. It can be the difference between getting started and waiting until the very last minute to tackle a tough assignment. Be flexible. Forgive yourself and start again. We know unexpected situations or distractions can detour us, so just make sure you make plans to get back on the path to your goals. One of the tools that can help you manage your time and evaluate your priorities is a daily, weekly, or monthly planner. This can help you develop a daily routine, but also allows you to be flexible and stay on track. Besides working classes, I encourage students to also include their weekly activities on their schedule, such as time with family or a significant other, time for rest and relaxation, meal times, physical activities, and hobbies. You may not be surprised to learn that many students fail because they do not attend class. If this is you, ask yourself, what are the challenges preventing me from attending? And do I have a plan to address those challenges? What changes can I make to ensure that I can attend to class? Are there circumstances beyond my control that I need to account for? If you need some inspiration, here's a short video which includes some very applicable quotes. My favorite quote from the video is, "Many things will catch your eye. Only a few will catch your heart. Pursue those." Remember to prioritize what is important and don't be afraid to seek the resources you need to pursue your goals. Fresno State has many resources to address your needs, including academic resources such as tutoring and supplemental instruction in the Learning Center. SupportNet can help with study strategies. We offer resources to address your physical and mental health and wellness, such as the Student Health and Counseling Center, Project Hope, Food Security Project, and the Student Recreation Center. In addition, the Money Management Center is a great resource for financial management and literacy. These are just some of the services that can help you manage the circumstances and habits that are contributing to your academic difficulty. With the Career Development Center, your College Advising Center, and your faculty advisors, we want to help you develop a career plan and goals, provide academic advising, and create a graduation plan so that you are not only a successful student, but you can successfully pursue a career after graduation. But remember, student life is not just about going to class and doing homework. We encourage you to get involved on campus. Student involvement is one of the many resources at your disposal to find out about awesome opportunities to participate in on and off campus events and activities. Come see your counselor to review the resources and options that will work for you. To schedule your appointment, call the Student Success Services front desk in Joyal 224 at 559-278-1787. Listen to all of the options and select the one that will allow you to schedule your appointment, or visit the front desk in Joyal 224. If you are part of the Dream Success Center, contact Gabby and Sinas. If you are part of the Office of Black Student Success, contact Davion Baker. If you are part of the Renaissance Scholars Program, contact Adriana Vasquez. If you are part of our American Indian Support Program, contact Angelica Robles Tren. If you are an EOP student, you have an EOP counselor. Your assigned counselor depends on the number of years you have been at Fresno State, whether you are admitted as a freshman or a transfer student, and your last name. It is also possible to be part of EOP and a special support program. If you are a first or second year student that started as an incoming freshman, contact your assigned counselor based on the first letter of your last name identified here. You will also have a peer mentor for additional support. If you are a transfer student, third year student, fourth year, or more, contact Dennis, Angelica, Lupe, or Wayne. All students should continue checking your Fresno State email and student portal throughout the semester for updates and more important information. I hope you are taking notes. If you have questions, concerns, comments, or need clarification, don't hesitate to contact us. Again, our phone number is 559-278-1787, or stop by Joyal 224. Winston Churchill, British Prime Minister during World War II, is quoted as saying, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." In continuing with your educational career at Fresno State, we hope you take some time to reflect back on your experience thus far and make a commitment to learning from challenges and failures. Now that you have finished the next step video, it's time for the next step. Successfully complete the quiz to confirm that you have completed the workshop. Thank you for your attention. Don't forget to schedule your advising appointment by the advertised deadline. See you soon.